everything is clogged. It's always something. Fuck it. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. It's been the room of many poor boys. Lord, I know I'm one. I know I'm one. Where my mother was a tailor, she sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans, in New Orleans. Now the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. The only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. He's on a drunk. Mothers tell your children to do what I have done. I'm going back to New Orleans to join the rising sun, the rising sun, the rising sun. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. It's been the ruin of many poor boys. Lord, I know I'm one. I know I'm one. I know I'm one. in the early 1970s, we made one of the greatest scientific discoveries when we sent our bravest men up to the moon to find out what the moon is all about. And they were quite surprised to find the golf course in the sky. Golf course in the sky. And they said it must have been a golf course this whole time. And they were quite amazed. They brought their golf clubs up there and teed off on the moon. And then they got in their little golf carts and rode off to the next hole. And then they stuck their little flag in the ground. And then they called up the president from the golf course payphone and said, hey, hey, there, Nixon, what do you think about this golf course in the sky? He said it must have been a golf course this whole time. I'm proud of you boys, now play a good game of golf and get your ass back home. We don't want nothing bad to happen to you while you're out there on the moon. We're so proud of you for finding the golf course in the sky. Ha ha, you fool. No one's ever been to the moon. Ha ha, you're a fool. No one's ever been to the moon. Ha ha, you're a fool. No one's ever been to the moon. Ha ha, you're a fool. No one's ever been to the moon. Ha ha, you're a fool if you believe that. I'm sorry about your love, but the truth is plain as day. No one's ever been to the moon. That is pretty much what most of the people these days don't even believe it. You better catch up with the times. No one's ever been to the moon. No one's ever gonna go. But if you ever do go up to the moon, I got one thing to tell you. You make sure you better land on top. Because if you don't land on top, you're gonna fall off. It's true. You got no reason to believe you just go land anywhere. No, you gotta land on top. You're gonna fall off. Somebody's here? Scott, bro. The golf course in the sky, bro. There's the moon right there. be like one of those TikTok videos. See my hand pointing at the thing right there? See, there's the moon. This is the moon. And you know what? Why don't you ask yourself this? Why is the moon right there, lighting up that part right there? Ask yourself this. See where I'm pointing? See my finger wagging at the moon? You didn't know it was there until I pointed at it. See right there? That's the moon. Now ask yourself, why is it like that, dude? Yeah. Think I'd be a good TikToker? Hmm. I think I could work on my style a little bit. I gotta have some more like compelling content, you know. You know, the Earth is probably flat. I mean, it is. Was, you know. Just look at it. You know, I'm never gonna forget the things that at the time I didn't even see. Now it's all just plain as day to me. Oh, oh right. Yeah, we're supposed to be spinning around the sun. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I never really thought about it. Yeah, that's crazy. Kids will be like, "Come on," because I have a son who's like he's 9 years old. He's almost 10. But like, you know, he's had little friends over, and they're like, they see me with my flat earther hoodie. You know, they're like, "You think the Earth is flat?" I'm like, "No, I don't think it is. I just know it is." And you know, I mean, I know there's hills and valleys and shit, you know, but you get the point. It's not a ball. Well, no, and they start telling me all about it. It's a ball and it's spinning around the sun and this and that, and all the stuff the kids know about it, you know. And we're going in the solar system and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know all that stuff. It's not like I didn't learn all that stuff too. I understand, I get it. I know all that stuff really well, actually. It's just that I don't believe it. Oh, but it's true. Well, that's what they say. They say it's true, but they don't really make much of an effort to prove it to you. You just kind of have to believe it, you know? They give you some silly little ideas to think about, you know, ships are disappearing over the horizon. Yeah, but then it turns out they're not really disappearing because you can zoom in on them with today's cameras, and so that throw that one out. You know, you go down the list, and after a while, you realize, well, this is pretty cheesy. It's not really what it was cracked up to be, actually. There's a couple of good ones, but it's not proof. You know, it's not like they say where it's like scientifically, you think that space is all, all that shit where all these space agencies go to space. Nah, that's just bullshit. I mean, if that was true, I mean, we'd be having bases on the moon and on Mars, like they said, you know, but they say a bunch of things and they never do them. You ever notice that? Then the times when they do things, it's like you just look at it and be like, wow, that's fake as fuck. Hate to have to defend that. I'm just going to go ahead and get on the other side of that argument. I don't believe it. It looks fake, and I just don't believe it. It sounds like a crock of shit when you think about it. All I got to do is think about it. So it's funny how we flat earthers get the bum rap of being complete morons, but it's like, well, you know, a smart person actually questions the things they're given as truth. It's like a smart person's actually going to question the answers that they're given. You know, just a person who's just going along to get along. Those are the people who are just going to believe what they're told. And, you know, it doesn't always work out so well. I mean, just look what happened with the people that were, like, believing in the pandemic, you know. They worried themselves sick. And they went down to the hospital, and the hospital finished them off. It was a reverse pandemic, is my point. You know, it wasn't a normal pandemic. Not that there ever really was one, but what it's supposed to be is where, like, everybody in the world is getting sick and dying from the same disease, and everybody's all dying and shit. The only people lucky enough to survive are the people who made it to the hospital for treatment. That's what we're supposed to think a pandemic is. But in reality, what our pandemic was nobody was sick and dying. Well, and the only people that were sick and suffered greatly or died were the people that actually went to the hospital for treatment. Those are the only people that died. It's not funny, but it's true. So that's a reverse pandemic, actually. It's the complete opposite of what they said it was. The only people that played along with their fucking little charade were the people that suffered from it. Those of us that knew it was a joke, we tried to tell everybody, but we got censored and laughed at and shit. But I just kept trying, you know. I lost YouTube channels, not like I give a fuck, but I did. I lost several of them just for telling the truth. And then it turns out, you know, it was just a big hoax, and everybody kind of had to swallow it in the end, you know. People don't talk about it anymore because it's pretty embarrassing. Sure, there's still some people that are going and getting their jabs, but they're not in good shape. I don't envy them at all. I mean, it's like, what does the doctor say to you on your 12th visit? You know, can I get my 12th booster? It's like, I guess, are you still alive? Well, maybe this one will do the trick. What the fuck? How many of these does it take? You know, it's like a disease. It's like a bioengineered lab leak or something. It's like, that sounds scary, but like, what kind of bioengineered fucking bioweapon has a 99.99% survival rate? I mean, that's basically a 100% survival rate, in my opinion. Because that little 0.1 is just like, dude, you know, somebody could have stubbed their toe, you know, died. I mean, it's like, it's not really a big deal. Like, to shut down the whole world and fucking completely just fuck everyone's lives over, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, something with a 100% survival rate, I mean, 99.99%. I mean, you pretty much, it's like, that's everything. Everything has that kind of survival rate. I mean, you know, whatever, eating dinner has that kind of survival rate. You know, people might choke or something. I mean, it's about that serious, really. So just chew your food really well and, you know, wash it down with some water. The best way to not get sick is to stay healthy. There you go. That's some Dr. Bas Ackwards medical advice for you. That's what I do on this channel. That's why I lose channels. Because I'm a reverse psychologist. I'm the complete opposite of what, you know, I don't need to have a fucking degree in anything. I have a reverse degree. You know. Like, I just basically flip scripts that are already backwards. I'm straightforward, it's the rest of the world that's backwards. So I'm actually Dr. Bas Forwards, but like the thing is, everybody else is backwards, so I'm just backwards. I mean, I'm not backwards, I'm forwards, but they're all backwards, so they think I'm backwards, so I'm just going with it. I'm backwards. Fine. I'll be backwards. I'll be Bas Ackwards. The Bas Ackwards acrobat. Yep. I flip scripts. A script flips. I prescribe a flip. I'm prescribing you a flip, a hippie flip. Would you like a hippie flip or a trippy dip? I'd like both. Can I take a double dip? A double dip hippie trippy flip. I'd like a double dip of hippie trippy flip, please. Would you like it to go or would you like it right now? I'd like both. Oh, okay. Save some for later, you know. Because if you take a hippie dippy trip while you're peeking on the drippy hippie flippy trip flip trip, then you have a double hippie trip flip peak, and that's the best shit right there. Mm-hmm. You gotta take it while you're peeking, and then you peek again. It's like double peak, you know, two peaks. Yeah, and then you have a big valley after that. It's one big peak, and then you come down, all the way down. Or not all the way down. You never really come all the way back down, actually. You still kind of get these little side effects and afterthoughts, aftershocks, what do they call them? Flashbacks, yeah, that kind of shit. Flashback flashback at you. Dr. Bass has some flashbacks every once in a while. Yes, sir, Bob Joe. That's what I do. I have flashback passwords. My flashbacks come back asswards at me. I'm all, well, it's in reverse. You know, when your life flashes back before your eyes, it's all rewinding. It's all played in reverse. Like, whoa. And it goes quick. It's all backwards. It's pretty wild. I just made that up, but it would be pretty wild. Right. That's right. Yeah, so I think we've all seen enough pictures of Earth from space by now to where we could all agree that obviously we live on a fisheye lens. I mean, it's not rocket science. And by the way, rocket science isn't even rocket science. It's just a joke. You think you can have a rocket like in a vacuum? The thing is, you don't do anything in a vacuum because there's no vacuum. Oh, there's a pressure gradient, and the air thins out when you get up there. Yeah, air, the breathable air, the stuff that you breathe. Yeah, oxygen and all that. There's other stuff there though. Yeah, because like hydrogen, helium, all these other gases that are like that we don't that go float to the top. There's other stuff there. Just because we can't breathe doesn't mean it's a vacuum. Vacuum. I mean, it's just a different environment. We don't. It's not cut out for us up there. You don't go there because we can't live there, and you don't have like engineer you know rockets to go there because you don't go there. Nobody goes there. Nobody wants to go there because nobody can go there. That's the limit. The sky is the limit, quite literally. So, yeah. Good luck with your space adventures, all you space believers. Television watching news believers. For me, even if it's all real, I don't believe it. I mean, I guess I would have to if it was real, but the thing is, I'll never know that because you're supposed to believe something that you'll never see. Like 8,000 miles under the ground right now. 8,000 miles. Somebody's standing there and they're upside down. Okay? Did you know that the sky goes under your feet? Yeah. You can do enough equations to prove to somebody the sky goes under their feet. It's pretty fancy. Did you know we have no way of measuring with any meaningful degree any curvature or motion of the Earth? There's no way of measuring it. No. And there's no gravity. It's just a big joke. It's a big story. What about things falling? What things? Things falling? What are you talking about? Things falling? Okay, well, if something's not being supported, it's gonna fall. Yeah, or look like it's falling. But as long as we're breaking down reality, how do you really know it's falling? How do you know you're not rising up to meet it? Well, you're just assuming that you're not rising up to meet it because that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, it's crazy assuming that you're standing upside down right now. That's crazy. I prefer to just accept reality as it is. I don't need to know all the ins and outs and what have yous, whatever God had to do to make this otherwise stationary level plane that we live on. It's cool with me, man. Did a good job. It's perfect. You can't complain. I mean, clearly, the advancement of our technology hasn't gotten us anywhere in the world of space. We're advancing technologically, but we haven't done shit in the world of space and the globe Earth and all this crap. Yeah, because it's a big story. With all our advancement, all this technology, it's all getting all crazy, AI and all this advanced shit. It's all here on the ground, dude. We don't go up in space. You'd think with all our technology, all our advanced technology, we'd be all having all these fucking bases and all this crazy fun shit up in the sky and space and, orbiting, hotels and, you know, lunar bridge to the fucking whatever. There'd be like the Jetsons or something. No, because it's all a big story. Our technology is getting pretty advanced, but we're still here. We didn't go anywhere. We're not. Nobody ever left Earth. Our technology is getting pretty fancy, but nobody's leaving Earth. Sure, they're still trying to pretend that's what's going to happen. Elon's going to bring 1,000,000 people to Mars. I wouldn't be surprised if they went so far as made a big dome somewhere and made everybody believe they landed on Mars and they have to live in a dome. It's a reality TV show and they're on Earth, but they don't know it. They think they're on Mars. They think they can't leave the dome or they'll die. Little do they know, they'll end up dying in the dome from malnutrition or some shit, and there'll just be this big scandal, and then all the flat earthers will be like, dude, they weren't even on Mars, they were on the Earth. Those fuckers killed them because they couldn't fucking regulate the biodome correctly, and they all died because you guys are fucking so into your hoax. You're up to your neck in this shit. You can't ever fucking admit that you were lying. To go all the way, you're gonna bring this hoax all the way home. You're gonna take it all away. Pretend you're going to Mars. Well, they've already pretended they had launched a car up into orbit. They fucking pretended they fucking launched probes and helicopters on Mars and fucking out at the far edges of the solar system and beyond. But it's so dumb. It's so fake. The footage of Jupiter, oh, dude, it's so bad. It's so fake. It's so bad. It's so fake. You see it like rotating in one shot, in one part of the video. The whole planet's rotating and you see the moon's coming around, Then another video, like pretty much from the same vantage point. It's no longer rotating, but the storms that are on Jupiter are rotating. Whoa, fucking cool. So it's like the planet stopped rotating, and then all the storms started moving. Because in the video where the planet was rotating, the storms were all static, they weren't moving. But then the planet stopped, and then all the storms started moving. Jupiter does some crazy shit out there, man. It's some fancy ass gravity. And about them gas planets, it's like you got a Uranus planet and you got a gas planet. It just starts the same kind of funky, like, I don't know, a gas planet. You got a big ball of gas. A big ball of gas. Gas can have its own gravity, I guess. It's a big gas ball. It came out of Uranus. It's orbiting Uranus. You have a big gas ball orbiting Uranus. So we got to send a probe out there. Get SpaceX to do it. Send a probe to find out about the gas cloud ball around Uranus. That gas orbiting Uranus, we got to send a probe. Yeah, deep space probe. In Uranus, there's a black hole. It's emitting black matter, and we got to make sure that shit's all legit, So we got to send a probe up to Uranus. We're going to need to ask Congress for a few $billions, We got to prevent, these space rocks from hitting Earth. We gotta do our duty. Well, NASA isn't even a space agency anymore. They're now a spy agency. NASA, now a spy agency. They're not a space agency anymore. Nope, they're now a spy agency. They just came right out with it. We're now a spy agency. Oh, that was a convenient little shift. Not many agencies can just shift like that and be all, now we're doing this. Now we're spying. Oh. So all that business about space was just like, okay, now we're spying. Spying on what? Space? No. So you're just spying on people on Earth. So it was never really about space at all, was it? No, it wasn't. Because there is no fucking space. What about the ISS? What about it? Yeah, that's a good question. What about that thing? All those little videos they do, dude, I mean, it's pretty much the most embarrassing achievement of mankind, really. It really is the most embarrassing achievement of mankind. These fucking women with their hairspray and fucking these dudes that, like, with their awkward, like, backflips they do and their arms get all, whoa, all doing all this weird shit. Yeah, that looks good. That's great. Good stuff, man. It's worth all the billions of dollars. I'm glad they're doing that, because, well, I can't really think of anything good about it, but it's pretty cool. They go fly on their spaceship to the ISS and they do these little somersault science. Pretty neat, man. Good thing they're doing that. It's great. It's so cool. But the more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget. But $80 million a day, it's an awful lot to pay for such a shitty presentation of their International Space Station. And they do their spacewalks. I think they're in a swimming pool on Earth when they see those bubbles in space. Bubbles in space. You can see the dupers look at delight on their face. They do the science of deception. Oh, for shame. They got a lot of hairspray. You gotta use a lot of hairspray to make your hair look that way. Oh, yeah. $80 million a day. You think you'd have more to say for yourself, but all we get is this vague science talk. We do a lot of science. The science of somersaults. Somersault science. Want to see another somersault, kids? Whoa, yay! Want to go to the moon? Yeah! Sorry, we can't go to the moon. Oh. But the more money you shovel in NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget, but $80 million a day, it's an awful lot of money to pay. But now they're just a spy agency. Great. It's a good thing we spent all that money so we can have the government spy on us. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah. The more money you shovel at NASA, the more sketchy they seem. It's almost like they want you to know the whole thing is a joke, with their mistakes on purpose. They're pissed on breadcrumbs for you to gobble right up. We caught them. They're faking it. Look, we're going to expose them to the world. Nope. The thing is, truth if they don't want to hear it. You know, I had to pull my own head out of my ass. You know? It's kind of a personal thing, you know? Anyways, I fail at entertaining. I quit.